Time to move on to business. Yuka's joined us in the studio. Hooray for that. Chinese ultra-fast fashion giant Shein has come under renewed pressure here in France after it's emerged it had been selling, and it's quite sick really, childlike sex dolls. I was amazed you could find that such things exist. When I saw one, I felt quite ill because it makes you wonder who makes these, who buys these kind of things. But give us the business.
Yeah, the pictures we've been seeing today are more than just disturbing. Now, this was slated to be a landmark week for the Chinese e-commerce company with the opening of a physical store in Paris this Wednesday. But an announcement by French authorities sparked a new controversy after the store opening plan had already been met with fierce backlash. Now, on Monday, child protection activists protested outside the BHV department store across the street from the city hall. This after France's consumer watchdog said it had discovered childlike sex dolls on the e-commerce giant's website, with descriptions that left little doubt about their paedophilic nature. Under French law, online sales of child pornographic materials is punishable by up to 7 years in prison. Economy Minister Laurent Lescure said it could lead to an outright ban on Shein. Let's take a listen.
We all want to fight fast fashion. These platforms that sell new collections every day with prices that challenge every single competitor. We're starting to fight against it by putting a tax on small packages. But now it's crossed a line. These horrible objects are illegal. I want to be very clear. If such conduct is repeated, we have the legal right, and I will ask to exercise it, to block Shein's access to the French market.
Shein has never been without controversy, though, has it?
Well, it's long faced questions about whether it was sourcing cotton from Xinjiang linked to forced labour and about its environmental footprint. Here in France, it was hit with 2 massive fines this year, one on false advertising and another on its use of cookies. But that seems to have had little impact on its business. Founded in 2008, Shein had become the world's largest fashion retailer by 2022. It prides itself in its micro-production business model that enables fast turnaround based on real-time demand and feedback. It now serves 160 markets around the world with a global workforce of about 10,000. Its over 7,200 contractors ship items directly from their factories. Its revenue growth has been exponential, especially since COVID. And in the first quarter of this year, it sold nearly $10 billion worth of goods before Donald Trump's higher tariffs kicked in, Mark.
Indeed, it's tapped into that aspect of people that want to have a good deal, I suppose, hasn't it? Europe, in particular, France, has become a major market.
Well, even though Shein's biggest market is the United States, it's been finding more and more customers here in Europe. And it's not just Shein. E-commerce platforms such as Temu have also extended their reach. Last year, a staggering 4.6 billion parcels arrived in Europe, around 145 every second. 91% of them came from China, with the volume quadrupling since 2020. 1.5 billion of them were shipped to France, about half of that with a value of less than 150 euros. Until now, small value parcels have come in duty-free, but EU lawmakers are considering scrapping that exemption, especially now that the United States ended a similar measure called de minimis exemption. In the ongoing budget debate here in France, the lawmakers are considering the idea of adding a 2% import duty to every item below 150 euros.
There's another Chinese company having a tough time here in France.
That's tech giant Huawei. It is reportedly ready to abandon a €200 million factory that's been in development for several years in eastern France. Previously a leading force in the telecom market, it faced roadblocks from EU countries over its development of 5G networks due to security concerns. Caroline Baum with her colleagues at France Télévisions have more.
This enormous complex in eastern France was built by Chinese telecommunications giant Huawei. But 5 years after the project was launched, the factory remains empty.
Production was supposed to start on January 1st. That's what was announced.
But 300 promised factory jobs have not yet been filled. And according to local officials, Huawei is considering abandoning the manufacturing facility.
This factory is intended to assemble 4G and 5G antennas. However, they've lost a lot of market share in Europe, so Huawei is considering whether to keep the business or choose other options, such as selling the site.
Announced with great fanfare at the end of 2020, this Alsatian factory was a symbol of Huawei's ambitions in France and Europe. But due to concerns over security and espionage, several European countries tightened legislation to limit use of equipment from the Chinese group. This may explain Huawei's change of heart, a disappointment for customers at this nearby bakery.
I'm surprised because it was a huge controversy to build a Huawei factory for Europe here, and now it's already closed.
I think it would have been a good thing for the area to have an employer setting up with so many new jobs.
The bakery manager sees it as a lost opportunity for her business.
We were expecting more work, more customers. We had a lot of business during the construction phase. Now we're waiting to see if it will be bought and how things will turn out.
Huawei has not yet spoken on the matter. For now, no final decision has been made on the future of its French factory.
And that's it for this business. You go back in an hour with more news, including a $38 billion deal between OpenAI and Amazon. It's bound to have a massive impact on the whole spectrum there. You could with more of that, of course, in the next business bulletin in 1 hour's time. Thank you. Do stay with us. We've got more news to come here. Prime News Paris.